Hi, I'm Jason Blake, President of PEI, and welcome to this edition of PEI Newswatch. I'm here with John Keller, the chairman of the foundation, and we're going to spend a few minutes telling you about some of the important news that you need to know about some of the future foundation focuses and goals and missions. John, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Jason. Good to be here.
Let's just talk a little bit about this whole workforce thing and how you see the foundation working for the industry to solve this.
Yeah, well, as most people know, Jason, it's the workforce shortage situation that we found ourselves in has come across to us in several different parts. One's demographics. There's been a shortage of supply, shall we say? So we've had lower birth rates and everything. It's also come through the education field where people have gone and stayed away from the skilled professions. Mm-hmm. And so we're having to deal with those things that are counterintuitive to what we usually have in the past. Now's the time for us to approach it and tackle it in a better way. And I think what the foundation is doing in working that directly and changing that for our association and its members for the better is going to produce so many dividends for years and decades to come.
Yeah. And we were talking a little bit about the pool of candidates that we can go after, mm-hmm. and we talked about the military, and you guys have been thinking about really going in and focusing on how can we acquire great military talent once they've fulfilled their tour of duty, mm-hmm. And we think we have an answer for that. Mm-hmm. With working with another coalition, how important do you think this is to the core competencies of the foundation?
Yeah, so I think it does a couple of things. Military outplacement back into the general sector, it does a couple of things. It allows us as a business to honor those veterans that have done what they've done. And I think that's huge for us too. I think the talents that they bring to us that the United States military has brought them through discipline, through their learning environment, through structure, all those things just really generate us in a much better place. And so we love the idea of working together with a coalition that is already established. Yeah. And we're not re-engineering it all over. Yeah. And it's working for those guys. So we want to walk alongside of them and adhere to that. But I think you'll get to that. Just as important is to establish a new type of credentials from the very early onset.
Right, mm-hmm. Right. And another thing that we talked about too is we know there's this shortage, and we always talk about the shortage of good help and technicians. But the interesting thing is we don't know that number, right? Mm-hmm. And we talked about building some sort of research and some validation of how many folks we actually need. Mm-hmm. We don't know if it's 5,000 or 35,000 at this point. Yeah. And I think the foundation can really help us get a hold of that number.
It's a core part of our charter and our mission is to do that research on things that benefit the association. So if the foundation can spend the time and dedicate the efforts and to doing the research on the needs of the talent in the field, also the needs of meeting the leadership talents that's needed in the field too. So there's two strong components of that the foundation can and will do in the future that just drives us forward.
Yeah, I agree. And once we understand that number, I always think, in my career, when we talk about the shortage and trying to find help, 15 years ago we talked about it and it was bad then. Mm-hmm. And then, then we moved 10 years forward and we're like, it's still bad. It's worse than it's ever been, right?
Oh yeah. So what we've got is an aging workforce now to deal with it. Yes. And so if you're aging your workforce out and not replenishing it whatsoever, we're doing it, but in a very small amount. So we've got to accelerate that path. And the time is now. Yeah. So it's so refreshing to see the association and staff that has given us that firm foundation, I'll call it foundation again, to be able to do some of these other things that we wanted to do when it was incepted in 2008 is when it was seen. Yeah. And we feel so very strongly right now that we're going to be able to legitimize and accelerate this now.
And the foundation's goal is really to build a staff that can serve the industry and make sure some of these things we're talking about, the awareness, the focus on military, the focus on building these relationships with schools, that's a lot of work. And there has to be a dedicated team to do that. And I think that's what the foundation is doing.
Yep. So that's going to be core to us. But I think the core component is, and we're talking to our members here, right?
Right.
And so the other core is volunteerism.
Yes.
And our members, we're going to have ways for the members to be involved. And that's going to be so very important that they're going to walk alongside those staff members.
Right.
They're going to influence their communities. They're going to work alongside those school districts that have given those common goals together, or the military outplacement, or whatever it is. And I think those two combined is going to make us much stronger.
Well, and the great thing is, John, you've got a 2-year commitment as the chair of the foundation.
Yeah.
So you're going to have be able to lead us through that and get us to where we need to be and really make a mark to help the industry. And I'm so excited to have you aboard.
Well, I appreciate it. It's an honor to do it. It feels like I'm able to give back something that I started 40 years ago. And so that's just refreshing to be able to do this in this point in my career and everything. So I'm very pleased with that.
Well, thank you for the time. And this has been enlightening for me. And I hope we've got a little, some bits of what we're trying to do in the future here. I'm Jason Blake, and thank you for watching PEI Newswatch.